Hello students, today let us learn more about parallel lines. Today's topic is test for a parallel lines. Suppose there are two lines given and we have to decide whether those two lines are parallel or not. We have to use certain tests. Those are called as tests for parallel lines. Can define this? Whether given two lines are parallel or not can be decided by examining the angles found by transversal of the lines. So as we have learned that if there are two lines given in a plane and there is a transversal which intersects both the lines, then in all there are three pairs of angles found by the transversal which intersects given two lines. We are going to use those angles and we are going to decide whether the given lines are parallel or not. So those tests are called as tests of parallel lines. So those tests are interior angles test, alternate angles test, and corresponding angles test. Let us have the statement of the first test, interior angles test. Statement is, if the interior angles on the same side of a transversal are supplementary, then the lines are parallel. Alternate angles test is, if one of the pairs of alternate angles is congruent, then the lines are parallel. And the corresponding angles test is, if one of the pairs of corresponding angles is congruent, then the lines are parallel. So if we observe these three tests, for alternate angles test and corresponding angles test, those angles must be congruent to be given lines parallel. And for interior angles test, interior angles on the same side must be supplementary if those two lines has to be parallel. So this is the difference between these two, interior angles test and the remaining two tests. In this video we are going to prove interior angles test. Let us have the statement again. The statement of the theorem is, if interior angles found by transversal of two distinct lines are supplementary, then the two lines are parallel. Here two lines given AB and CD and XY as their transversal which intersects line AB and line CD at points P and Q respectively. For this one, given is line XY is a transversal of line AB and CD, and as the statement suggests, the interior angles formed by transversal of two distinct lines are supplementary. So here we have taken a pair of angle BPQ and PQD. So as we can see, these are the two angles which are on the same side of the transversal and they are interior angles. And it is given that they are supplementary, that is sum of measure of these two angles is 180 degree. So that's given. And from this information we have to prove that those two lines are parallel, that is to prove is line AB is parallel to line CD. So here we start with the proof. Now to prove this, we suppose that the lines which are given AB and CD are not parallel. So here let us suppose that the statement which we have to prove is wrong. That means we have to prove that line AB is parallel to line CD, but instead that we assume that those two lines are not parallel. So if those two lines are not parallel, they must intersect at a point. So let there is a point T at which AB and CD intersect. So by this one we get a triangle PQT. Now for this triangle, if we have the sum of measures of all the angles of a triangle, that is angle TPQ plus angle PQT plus angle PTQ. These are the angles of a triangle. The sum must be 180 degree because sum of angles of a triangle is 180 degree. But here it is given that angle TPQ plus angle PQT is equal to 180 degree. Because in given we have angle BPQ plus angle PQD is equal to 180. So for angle BPQ we can rename as angle TPQ, and for angle PQD we have a name angle PQT, which is given to be 180 degree. So these are the two angles of a triangle, and here by given we get that the sum of those two angles of a triangle is 180 degree. That means the remaining angle of this triangle must be of 0 degree because sum of measure of two angles is 180 degree, and the third angle remaining is angle PTQ. So that must be 0 degree. When we get the measure of angle 0 degree, those two lines are not distinct. They are one and only one line. Here line PT and line QT, that means line AB and line CD are not distinct lines. Then only we get measure of angle PTQ is equal to 0 degree. So we arrive at a result that line AB and line CD are not different, which is a contradiction to the given, because we are given that line AB and line CD are distinct lines. So we get a contradiction, and we get this contradiction because of what we have assumed. We have assumed that the statement which we have to be proved is wrong. So that assumption is wrong. That means the statement that we have to prove is correct. That means our assumption is wrong. Therefore, line AB and line CD are parallel. So to prove this, we have used here the method of indirect proof. So this is how we can decide whether the two given lines are parallel or not by using interior angles test.